voting on agenda items.
Well, I have a video that I would like to show here. As I warm up the projector, I will just go and kind of preface what concerns are. My major concern is that at the last meeting, we voted to approve the BYOD program when the posted agenda item was public forum during no device. And my understanding of posting an agenda items is that we are supposed to stay to the actual subject. And I feel that that was what we did was not clear notification to the public. I have had people already contact me and said, I thought that there was going to be a public forum before you voted on it. So, and that's what our agenda indicated. You have no problem with that as chair?
Have you shown the video?
No, I'm saying of this particular problem that we have, that we voted on something that was not clearly an agenda item. I mean, when I went to the school board meeting, seminar, that was a biggie that we're not supposed to do. You're supposed to put it to a next meeting, because you're supposed to notify the public of what business is going to be dealt with. And I think it was pretty clear that we were dealing with a public forum about not the program itself.
Well, I would counter that. You know, we're talking about items. I mean, some of these are large items. We talk about good to great, but we don't know what we're going to be talking about good to great. We could make a motion to add something to the program, delete something from the program. We don't know until we hear reports. We hear network security. We don't know. We could have made a motion tonight on network security.
Yes, but that agenda item was specifically public forum hyphen in one place. Public forum appeared first in the agenda item. I mean, so it was, the subject was public forum and the subgroup was BYOD. Now, I think that's pretty clear by the way it was stated. I would agree with you with network security, but I would be under the impression that if we were going to vote on something, especially something huge, that we put it on the next agenda for the vote. If we got right up to that point, I would be in favor of that, whether we could do it or not. But I think we clearly violated that intention with what we did with the last vote.
Well, I guess in answer to your question, no, I don't think it did, because we were discussing BYOD.
Okay, well, I certainly disagree with that. The other problem that I have is this intention, or your stated intention that all my motion was to schedule a forum before the vote and not actually have the vote. And that's the position that I saw you state at the last meeting. And that's why I brought the video here, because I have the video from the 31st meeting when that motion was made. And I think it's pretty clear you were there at that meeting, you voted for this, there was a lot of discussion about this. And I think the intention of that motion was pretty clear and pretty understood by everybody present at that meeting. So I'd like to play that video so that we can see what actually happened. The audio is a bit difficult because there's no microphones.
Before we get into the agenda, Dave, you have something you wanted to bring up?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we schedule a public forum concerning BYOD sometime before we vote.
Sometime before what?
We vote on it. If I can get a second, I'll speak to it.
Excuse me a second.
I just think that it's important for us to invite the public in and to hear all the views about the program before we go ahead and take such a big step. It's much it.
Is there
Any other discussion?
any kind of like format?
I didn't want to take a lot of time tonight. I wanted to ensure that we would be able to have one, and then maybe next Tuesday, we can decide when, or between now and then, or how, or so forth.
I can say I'm not necessarily opposed to it. I'd like to, maybe wait until then and hear more about it. But, again, I'm all for format. It's one thing saying you're going to have a forum, but it's another to have it set up and run smoothly. So again, I'd like to wait and hear what the overall plan is before I decide one way or the other.
Well, my concern is that the calendar is running out very quickly. And I wanted, and my thought was if we agreed to have one, then maybe we could send out the meeting wizard, we could try to find a date, and then by next Tuesday, maybe we could actually set that date, because soon school will be over. And I think if we are trying to invite the public into July, it's going to be tough to get anybody to show up. So my thought was maybe by getting it started now, we could finalize it on Tuesday. I'm open to the format. I didn't prepare a format because I don't have a particular preference.
Just if I could, Cheryl, there's a motion on the floor for a public forum, have a public forum for BYOD. And we're in the discussion phases of that motion right now.
And it was before we vote on it, was there, like you said, I missed, did you say to have one before we vote on it as a board?
Yes, I wasn't picking a specific date or
Right,
anything,
right,
just
before,
before
yeah,
we would
yeah.
bring it to a vote.
Did we ever specify when we had to vote? Do we have any kind of deadline? What is there a deadline?
I think the game plan is June 19th.
To make a determination on where
Yes.
we're going with
Yes.
BYOD by the 19th?
And I'm wondering if before, well, either tonight or at our meeting on the 5th, that we can talk about the 19th, because we're supposed to be at the head school. And the board's going to have to consider that as a facility in conducting business. And secondly, the superintendent can't do that. So,
Okay.
Can't be where, at the 19th? or
Yeah.
something?
yeah. What happens, Mike, is at the end of the year, the 8th grade graduations, we don't know when they're going to be because we don't know what snow days are. And then they're scheduled at the end of the year. And I always have a conflict with Sunday. And boards generally, like the superintendent, at their graduations, that's Candy's graduation. And boards generally make accommodations for each other, so I can get to the graduation and get to the board meetings.
And it's my understanding too, that we don't really have any deadline that we have to vote it on the 19th. It's just that that's when we're supposed to have the report and,
We don't have a report to you. I think our goal is, I think what we said to you is we'll have it to you, I can carry it to your meeting on the 5th.
Right.
That's our plan.
right. So I guess what I should have said is we'll have time to have considered it by the 19th, but there isn't any real deadline that we have to vote that night. I'm flexible. I just would like to get on the record that we are going to have a public forum at some time before we vote. That's really all I'm asking in the motion, and, we can work out the details. Well, we can work out the details now. I didn't want to hold up the meeting with that.
I have a question for the superintendent. We're expected to have the report. Does the report include the results of the surveys that went to families that participated in it, or are those survey results coming at a separate time?
No. The surveys are back. And I believe we sent surveys to all parents, whether they,
Second, fifth, and sixth grade.
second, whether they participated or not. Yeah.
Okay.
So those will be part of an analysis of those will be part of the report.
Anyone else? Okay, all in favor of having the public forum on BYOD at a, I guess a date and time to be determined, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'm sorry. You opposed?
I'd like to abstain because I wasn't included enough in the discussions. I'm not sure.
Okay, well, I'm not opposed to it, so it's 3-1-1. So we'll see where we end up.
I have one other quick motion. I'd like to make a motion that we're public forum before we would take any vote to change the high school assembly policy. We don't know what we're going to, so obviously it's an idea that's, planning to do that. So my point is, I think it's pretty clear by the video and the discussion that the intention was to conduct the forum where there's no vote. And I would ask someone that voted for BYOD in the affirmative to motion for reconsideration of the BYOD program until we can have such a forum and comply with the vote of this board, the will of this board, to have the forum before the vote. I can't ask for reconsideration because I voted against it.
Coordinating the forum as the board at that time.
No discussion? No concerns with what you saw?
I'm
Well,
waiting,
I think
just giving time for your request.
Okay.
I'm giving none.
What's going to happen next year.
I have no issue with the way I vote.
And I think if you look back, what happened
I'll tell you,
last year.
any program we have,
was
by the way, I am in favor of public forum, as I stated in the
But
video.
there was not a forum called.
We can
I feel that if you call the
change
forum,
this at any
people have a
point.
chance to come out. and
Nothing
speak
we've
their
done is
mind.
set in stone, and this is the way it's gonna be forever.
And I think on the big issues
If we
like.
get information, additional information that we have not received, we can make changes.
I don't think that we're.
So nothing, I don't see where we're moving along on a calendar that we had predetermined before the pilot. Do the pilot,
And it prevents a quick vote from happening when
do a survey,
they have
we
not
did.
had a chance to come forward.
We're gonna evaluate, and we're gonna decide if we're gonna move on. And that was done before you were on the board. So I don't think we've been inconsistent with anything we've done. I definitely heard the discussion about, hey, we'd like to have it before the vote. It didn't happen. I heard it, I admit it, I heard it.
And
It
you
was
have
on video.
no problem with
Absolutely
that
not.
vote, and then going ahead and approving it under an improper agenda item at the next meeting. I just want you to be on record, Dana, saying that you're okay with that.
No,
Because I'm not.
I would not be in favor of it under a new proper. It was a BYOD. There was a lot of things discussed that night. It wasn't just around a forum.
Well, Dana, the official agenda item was public forum -BYOD. You opened the discussion, which is unusual for you as chair, because usually you hang back. We never discussed forum. You said, while we're talking about BYOD, which we hadn't even been talking about it yet, and you motioned to approve the program without public notice, after we promised a public forum. And to me, serving on this board, I wouldn't want to be part of that. That's not right. We agreed to have a public forum, have people come in, hear their opinions before we vote.
We make motions regularly
I don't think
without
we-
having them on the agenda. Not every motion we make is on an agenda.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just asking you why in that video you voted to have the public forum when clearly I stated it, Mike stated it. The clear intention of that was to have it before the vote. The word vote was used multiple times before all those words were used. You voted for it, and then out of the blue, you approved the program at the 20th meeting. Whether you're for BYOD or not, I mean, it's almost irrelevant at this point. We're a board, we're supposed to serve the public, and this is what we do. It's disgraceful to me that we serve the public this way. I want the public to come in and give some input to us.
Tricia? Cheryl?
It was my impression we are having for the forms before it actually is implemented in October. Wasn't that the motion? Is going to begin in October, allowing the administration to put together the form prior to that.
Each school is going to have their, I mean, you can call it what you want, an informational night, but there's going to be a night in September, an evening in September, at each school, where the program is rolled out, explained, questions, Q&A. So yes, that was part of the motion.
Can I just clarify, that was part of the motion at the last meeting. That was not part of the motions we just saw. The motion that we just saw was very clearly to have it before the vote, and that was approved by this board.
Tricia?
My interpretation of that was that the public forum was before the implementation of the program, not the vote. That's why I voted the way I did at our last meeting. And I think from the pilot program, the reason that it is and I'm not sure if you're aware of this, David, is that the meetings will be at each individual school because the issues at each individual school are different. The uses of your own device are very different at the Colley Middle School than they would be at Underhill or at Memorial. The uses are different. What you're concerned about is a little different, and there was some concern having them all at once in the first public introduction of the program.
Mayor.
Oh, please, I'm sorry.
Well, Mrs. Cortez, after you watched this video, didn't it clarify to you that what was said here was that the forum would occur before the vote?
No, that's not clarified.
It was stated 3 times in this video. Okay, I don't know what else I can say. And, you know, you've watched the video, and if that's your will, then that will be your will. I think we've done another disservice to the public, which is seemingly consistent with this board. Thank you. Let's move on.
Any other discussion on that agenda item? Okay.